Earlier this morning, I sat down, and I feel like this is going to be a good interview, even in the context of us not knowing. I sat down at 9 o'clock this morning with Senator Bryan King. It sounded like this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, we have Senator Bryan King from Arkansas District 5. Welcome back, Bryan.
Hey, good to be here, Paul.
All right, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. Some bill about the State Board of Election Commissioners. What do they even do? I don't even know what they do.
Yeah, we have the Secretary of State, which many people think is the face of Arkansas's elections. And when you have elections put on in your county, a lot of people think it's the county clerk, but it's really the election commissioners, and those are made up of appointed by the local county committees of each political party, and right now it's 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat. It used to be 2 Democrats, 1 Republican for years. But they basically are the ones that run the elections. This bill doesn't change that. But down here you have the Secretary of State, which does a lot with elections. And then you have the State Board Election Commissioners that are appointed by different entities, each political party, the governor, pro temp, House Speaker. And so they are appointed to look into complaints can be made. They look into making decisions about elections. They do election manuals for all the, but they are staffed with people. So you have the Secretary of State with a big staff, attorneys, everything else, and you have the State Board of Election Commissioners. I always felt like it was a waste of money, and it was always just political BS jobs over there that were politically handed out favor jobs, and it was just a waste of money to have staff people basically doing what could be duplicate things or centralized.
Okay. It sounds duplicative.
Yeah, and so what I was doing is not doing anything with the State Board of Election Commissioners. They would still retain their power, those appointed people, but the staff people under it would be merged into the Secretary of State, and we'd have savings appropriation level wise, and there's a difference between appropriation and spending levels, but if the budgeted levels would save roughly around $8 to $10 million over a 2-year period, you could look at savings of $1 million, on the low end of real money spending by not having these jobs that do 2 different things, or being able to do basically the same job with less money. And so the governor opposed it. You had some people out there spreading misinformation. That's what you do down here. When you actually have something that really matters and you're exposing something, their always counter thing is to put out misinformation.
They got to circle the wagons.
So you had a State Board election commissioner that couldn't even testify right, is admitted to testifying wrong in committee, couldn't get his facts straight, putting out these emails, these election commissioners, and putting out a bunch of stuff that wasn't true. And so that's the only way down here that they can combat the facts and the truth. And right now, the person that is the director of the State Board for the commission staff is Keith Rutledge, the dad of Leslie Rutledge, Attorney General.
Okay, so so we're talking about, if this would have passed,
those jobs very well
would have dried up.
Could have dried up, and then we would actually had savings and still got the same job done. Now, understand, Paul, as we just talked about before we come on the air, or this interview, every week they're raising taxes of some type. They need more money. We're turning out prisoners early, convicted felons early.
We got a crime problem.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Here's Asa Hutchison's solution to cutting government. I'm going to let convicted felons out early.
Yeah.
That's his biggest solution to cut government.
You think some of our crime increase has to do with the Medicaid candy land of entitlements that Arkansas is compared to our neighbors?
Listen, folks, while you're working harder for and paying more for less coverage, that convicted felon, which we hope he's rehabilitated, that convicted felon comes out and the first thing he gets is an Obamacare card. 100% free health insurance. Once again, why would you enter back into the job market when you lose that?
That's a good point.
So there's statistics that say that you have a higher crime rate from the 0 to 16,000 range more than you do the $70,000 to $86,000 range or $50,000 to $66,000 range. That's just statistics. And so we have become a Medicaid magnet, being a state that, until recently, Louisiana didn't expand Medicaid. But so once again, they come down here, they rob, steal, do whatever, commit crimes, and serve very little of their time. Governor Hutchinson lets them out early, and then the first thing they do when they get out of jail is they get a 100% free health insurance.
That doesn't make any sense. Seems like it really does seem like we do have a crime problem. And, of course, we had Dan Douglas, as he was speaking the other day in committee for Jake Files' bill, he said that if we don't want to close prisons or kick people out of nursing homes, he used that as a reason for why we needed to vote, or why the folks in the committee needed to vote for that bill. I mean, it's just really we don't even sound like Republicans in a lot of ways now. When we start using that kind of rhetoric. We're talking with Senator Bryan King. He is from Arkansas District 5, which is up in northwest Arkansas. While we're on the subject of Medicaid expansion, your colleague, State Representative Josh Miller, had a victory yesterday.
Oh, man, did he?
Yeah, 55 yes votes. Should have been more like 75 yes votes or 76. But, hey, we'll take what we can get. I was surprised that the Medicaid expansion bill to freeze enrollment, to close the front door, passed. What are your thoughts?
Well, Governor Hutchinson, who has the all-time greatest record in Arkansas of signing people up on government dependents. He sets the record. No one in Arkansas history has signed up more people on welfare than Ace Hutchinson. He then gives speeches that says, we have too many people on Medicaid. He then opposes a bill that would cap the number of people that are signed up on this program. Literally, I'm like, I just want to sometimes, after dealing with some of these things down here, Paul, I swear the next bill I'm going to file is to change the state motto from the natural state to it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I mean, I'm like,
I thought you were going to say the welfare state, but hey, that's better.
I would like to, but I mean, Governor Hutchinson may want to do that because Governor Hutchinson is the all-time record holder in the state of Arkansas in spending on Medicaid, spending on welfare, and the number of people he's put on welfare, and somehow he wants to talk about economic prosperity.
It is strange. So it's going to go to the Senate Public Health now, and I think it's got an uphill battle to get through, don't you?
Who knows? Give Representative Miller credit, man. He filed it, and you just think, okay, it ain't going to get here, and then maybe it's these guys can't figure out how to stop stuff quick enough. I mean, we've had bills like the State Board of Election Commissioners, which would save the people money at a time we're turning out convicted felons, at a time we have the truly needy on a disabled list. But, we got it out of committee. Gets to the Senate floor, and they mobilize the misinformation cover-up to protect a bunch of politically BS jobs over there. And
yeah. Can I ask you a question about the House? And I know it's it's considered the lower chamber compared to the Senate.
I don't know. It's all pretty low to me down here. I don't know anybody that can really claim the high ground down here.
There's just a lot more Republicans on that side than there are up here, on the Senate side. And so I guess, have you been surprised at the lack of conservatives bucking the leadership, bucking the governor, bucking the speaker? Have you been surprised that hasn't happened more often? Because I feel like yesterday might have been one of those times, because it was one of the few times that Charlie Collins got up and spoke against a bill, and they voted the opposite of the way Charlie Collins wanted them to, for example. So, have you been surprised by all that, or you expected it, or?
There's just there's getting any more where there is, sadly. And I don't think that the people out there know how bad a financial situation we're in. They still keep touting these things, but they may make up the revenue some this month. But let me tell you something: when you have a over $5 billion, with federal money it's 20+ billion, but with the federal money part, you want to end. If you were in your household or your business or your farm, you would want to end this fiscal year with at least a $250 million surplus, just to have enough little cushion. Okay, that's what your goal would be, not to just they're just talking about barely making it. And you know what? They are continually hiding things about how bad a financial situation
I've been speculating about that.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
They keep raising taxes. I mean, the whole thing, whether you sit there and think about the internet, Amazon tax, or bricks and mortars, that's a debatable question, okay? And I have been on the side, against a lot of people, on the side of the fairness issue. I think it's a fairness issue, bricks and mortar, of paying taxes. Okay. I wouldn't have voted for this last files bill. You know why? They don't tell you where the money's going. The biggest thing down here that they want to keep hiding is the fact of they want you to put it in the pot.
Well,
and not know where it's going.
To your
to me
point,
is unacceptable.
Senator King, to your point, I think that's why it's stalled in the House Rev and Tax Committee right now. Senator Fausto,
the Democrats
want to direct where the money goes,
yeah.
and Asa, I feel like, wants a blank check. So
he needs a blank check because he is in such bad.
Well, so maybe a month ago, you came on the program and you said, "Hey, we're $60 million behind projections with 5 months left in the fiscal year. Now it's down to 4 months."
Yeah,
and so you said we might do better this month, but I mean, I always operate under the assumption in any administration, Democrat or Republican, it's a lot worse. I mean, if it's bad, if we're behind that much, it's a lot worse than we even know, just like you just said. So do we have any new numbers as to how much?
I heard that they're going to make up some of it this month, as they would expect, with rebates and things that fluctuate. The key indicator of Arkansas's economy, if you want to know what it is sales tax collections, what people spend on an everyday basis. And they have not hit projections, okay? And so that's the biggest indicator of what your economy's doing. And, with Trump in there, people may get more optimistic about stuff, but that's going to take time. You still have a lot of variables with Arkansas's economy. Say what you want to about Trump and some of these trade deals. Sometimes the good and bad in that is that when other countries fight back in trade wars and trade deals, they hit agriculture products. Well, we're number one.
Yeah.
Number one economy is agriculture products. So that's a danger. I mean, gas prices are relatively low from what they had been on their highs. I mean, that could go up. And so there are so many variables out there right now. But once again, this governor, the crime rate is terrible. People are sick, and all their solutions it's just to keep turning more people out
earlier. Yeah,
and in making them, when they are turned out, making it harder to send them back to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Real quick before we go, tort reform. Okay.
Tort control.
Tort reform means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. This last tort reform bill, I think the one that they're going to go with, that's going to get put on the ballot.
We'll pick this up here in a minute, folks. We're stop. This is from earlier today at the Marble Palace. We've done a little bit more a little bit more digging during that interview. John Woods has been indicted, according to Arkansas Business. Also, we have news from 4029tv.com. Former Arkansas State Senator John Woods indicted on 13 charges. It says here 12 counts of honest services, mail and wire fraud, 1 count of engaging in monetary transactions and property derived from specified unlawful activity. According to court documents filed in the United States District Court in the Western District of Arkansas, Woods, Orrin Paris III, and Randall Shelton Jr. were all indicted. Now, that name, Randall Shelton, that's the name that we were reading to you back when the Mike and Neil stuff broke, trying to figure out who person A, who person C was. His name was on a lot of these healthcare entities or related to healthcare entities on the Secretary of State's website registering this company or that company. And so we'll have to dive back in and probably revisit all this to get our heads around it. But we'll see where this goes. And, yeah, I mean, it's been a breaking news day, and we'll keep – I want to read the indictment myself. We're trying to get a copy of it, and we will here shortly. Folks, an Arkansas Sheriff's Department was hit with ransomware all the way over in Carroll County, and the Arkansas Sheriff's Department there, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, they paid the ransom to unlock their data, $2,440 or the value of 3 Bitcoin that day. This could happen to you. It could happen to your small business. I would like for you to call my good friends at iTex. They are the techs to trust, and they know that threats are constantly evolving. They know that security needs are constantly evolving as well. Small and medium businesses are now targets, ladies and gentlemen, for cyber criminals who are becoming more and more sophisticated. And I just want you to equip your business with the best cybersecurity available. Cyber attacks disrupt business at a minimum. They're often intended to steal credit card information, bank account credentials, employee data. You don't want that to happen to your employees. So this can all happen for you, by the way, with an affordable, predictable budget. So I would invite you to call iTex, your first choice for cost-effective IT services. Ask yourself, is your business really ready for the potential downtime? Protecting your business means protecting your data, and cybersecurity criminals are right there waiting. So be proactive. Call iTex today for a free consultation, 870-336-9778. That's 870-336-9778 or itexusa.com. Back in a moment. Arkansas small businesses are tired of taxes that are too high and regulations that work as obstacles to small business success. If you own a small business, it's time to take action. Now, I'm not talking about the local chambers of commerce. I'm talking about an organization that's actually run by small business owners and are fighting for small businesses right here in the state of Arkansas. They're called Conduit for Action, and they're on your side. Conduit for Action is here not to get something from the government, but to be left alone by the government. Think of them as your personal advocate for limited government at the Capitol in Little Rock. If you're tired of all the politicians talking with no results and ready for action, start outsourcing your government affair needs with Conduit for Action. Go now to conduitforaction.org and click on Contact Us on the right side of the page. That's conduitforaction.org and stand up for small business in Arkansas.
Hi, this is Common Sense and Liberty. I'm Donnie Copeland. 650,000 Arkansans live on $21,000 a year and less. Now that's about $750 per month. You take out payroll taxes, charitable giving, rent, car, utilities, car insurance, gasoline, and groceries. You end up with a grand total of about $160 a month for disposable income. That's about $40 a week. You have $40 a week to buy birthday gifts, to eat out with family or friends, to plan for Christmas, maybe to replace a tire or a battery or a water pump, or maybe to help the kids go on a youth trip, or maybe a school field trip, or buy supplies for their arts and crafts class. $40 a week. So the next time the governor or legislature says that the internet tax is not that bad, think about the people, the 650,000 people that is, living on $40 a week. This is Donnie Copeland for Common Sense and Liberty.
If you would like information about advertising or supporting the Paul Harrell Program and Conduit Media Group, call 870-275-9755. Join the fight against big government and advance the preservation of liberty by calling 870-275-9755. The Paul Harrell Program, brought to you by Conduit Media Group. Need to get